Well, boys, I guess we were all just about a little bit nervous. It's a pressurized world. All I know is one thing. Comes 1:30, somebody's got to hit and somebody's got to get hit. Choose your sides. Choose your sides. Let's get ourselves in the right frame of mind to play football. Carry out your fakes. Carry out your fakes. You explode with the ball. When you're going downfield, let's throw our bodies. Let's throw our bodies. Carry out your assignment. When in doubt, pick out a blue shirt and hit it. Now sit on down a minute, boys. I want to tell you a little bit something. You know, it was a long time ago that we wanted to get Montclair on our schedule. And we really tried to work to get him on our schedule. And it's not easy. And don't let records mislead you. Don't worry about what somebody has done prior to today, because today is the day that counts. They don't have much of an opinion of Brick Township, and I tell you that from good sources. It's been said to me by several people that they have no respect for us as much as the state has no respect for shore football. You boys have the opportunity that many other boys from Brick Township never, ever had. You got it today. And you can go out there today and show them what type of a football team we have. Just one moment, because I want you to hear this straight. You can go out there and show them the type of football that Brick plays. Baby, let's get out there!
Dragon football is on the air from Bricktown High School in Bricktown, New Jersey, the high school football capital of the state. I'm Bob Levy, along with Dick Patton, bringing you still another Green Dragon football game. Today, the Dragons, coached by the incomparable Warren Wolf, seek to extend their unbeaten streak to 20 straight, going back to 1970. It's a big ball game for the town of Brick. If they win this ball game, they'll be number one in state, and that's an honor. They carry the whole burden of this community on their shoulders today.
47 pick pass, 31 power fake.
Let's go, Brick! Go! Go!
Stops the clock with 17 seconds remaining. And Dick Patton, I gotta believe that for the first time ever, an Ocean County team is going to win the mythical state crown. The game is over. 20-0 Brick, and listen to these fans. The Dragons run their undefeated streak to 20 in a row. We are number one. And
Come on, have a B&B.
It's not about a watch.
Tom? B&B?
Anybody else? All right, here's the Brick. Coach Wolf.
Sip it, everybody.
All right, boys.
B&B.
practice. And Warren, you say, listen, I'm trying. And he goes, well, my mother tried. I say that, I don't know, you all probably heard that one. But the one that I remember the most was when we were practicing like a sweep, whatever it was. Danny Duddy took the ball, spun around and threw the ball and hit this guy right in the hip. I don't even know who the tailback was in practice. And backed off, went all over the place. And Coach Wolf goes, how the heck? I don't think he said hell. No, he didn't.
Oh, no.
He only said Jesus Christ.
Easy practice. How the heck is anybody going to be able to catch a ball when you throw the ball? And I'm telling you, he was like 3 feet from Danny Duddy, throws the ball, hits Danny Duddy, and it sticks right under his arm. How's he going to catch that ball? And Danny goes like this. Like, okay.
That's life. You know?
Woo! Yes.
Yeah, many people have asked about the day. It was a beautiful day. We started out at the Colonial funeral parlor, and then we drove down Jordan Road to my mom and dad's house. And then we went to Totowa. Some people were asking about Totowa. Why Totowa? Anyway, that's where my dad's grandfather bought lots many years ago. So that's where my grandma and grandfather are, my great-grandma and grandfather. Many of Dad's aunts and uncles are there. And that's where Dad is. He's with right next to his mom and dad. So it was a beautiful day. Colonial treated us so well, so respectful. The military, the Navy was there. Flag draped casket. They played taps, folded up that flag, gave it to me. I gave it to Mom. So we were so blessed and we're so happy that we know Dad is at peace and he's home with his family and is up with Jesus. So, talking here, sitting at this table, listening to these stories, what I really like to hear, because I heard so many stories yesterday of what Dad did for people. I always knew he did things for people. I never knew what he did. People told me stories. I was like, unbelievable. Dad saved my life. Dad changed my life. If it wasn't for your father, my kids, this and that. I was like, wow. So anyway, we're here with mostly a brick football family. And what I would really like to hear is everybody's one or two little memories or what Dad said that is embedded in your mind, because he was definitely a one-liner, right, Kristen? I mean, up until his last days there, he had the one-liners. So if you want, come on up and just give me one liner or whatever, something that you remember about that on the field or other places. But like this guy right here,
Yeah.
It's everybody's teacher. One line, Bill. One line. Don't be stupid. Man of chances. He took them, but more importantly, he gave them.
Come on,
kiss the ring.
Sit down. You did that to Bradshaw.
My one liner from Warren Wolf was sew him up and get him back in the game. We were playing Neptune away, and I made this really good tackle on one of their backs, and my face mask bent back and split open my whole lip right here. I still have the scar. And so I'm laying on the ground, bleeding like a stuffed pig. And Mr. Wolf comes over and looks down and he says, sew him up and get him back in the game. They actually took me in an ambulance to the hospital, sewed me up, and I was second quarter. I actually came back and played the fourth quarter.
There you go.
So I made a tackle and I come back out and I'm just going like this. And the bear was there. And he goes like this. What's the matter? I said, I had nuts. So Coach Wolf comes over, said, what happened? The bear goes like this. You gotta hit him nuts. So I had to
born and raised in Brick. My family was from Brick. My uncles, dad, brother, everybody played Brick football. But back in the day, Brick football was so big that you had to actually purchase season tickets to the game. So my grandfather, I guess he probably got up, stood in line for 3 days, but he had season tickets on the 50-yard line forever. And that's where he sat. He never missed a game until the day he died. So that was story number one. One of my earliest memories of Brick football, we went to every single game, home or away, my entire life. Never missed one. So I probably had to be maybe 5 or 6. I'm not sure if it was Cherokee or Pennsauken, one of those two teams that we played. But I will never forget when my mother's Cougar station wagon got in the car after the game, and the radio DJ came on and said, "This is going out to Brick Township. Another one bites the dust."
What was on your jersey?
Bowling.
There you go.
89. Had a pretty rough childhood with a stepfather and had to leave my senior year. Didn't get to come to the dinner. Didn't get to come to the awards dinner. Didn't get to graduate with all you guys. But 5 years ago, I met with Roz, Wolf. And it had all our names on it. And that was the most incredible class act thing. And it wasn't written for me, my life. It closed the gap on everything. All those years, it taught me how to be a good man, a good husband, and be a good family member. And now I can give that back the rest of my life.
Say anything, just went like this. What's wrong with this boy? Donovan, can you figure it out? That was a tough job. Coach Wolf, he's the best. And I just have one story about Coach Wolf, and it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with Mike Balance. Mike Balance was an underclassman who's not here right now to protect himself, but it's hilarious. He finally got in. His mouthpiece was on the side of his face. He was chewing it. He was so excited. Got in. Coach Wolf says, "Get in there." Gets in there. He runs in there. All of a sudden, the running back breaks free and runs over Mike Balance. Runs over him and runs 65 yards for a touchdown. Coach Wolf meets him at the hash mark, of course. And he goes, "Mike Balance, you all right?" Mike's face mask was sideways. His mouthpiece was like over here. And he goes, "You all right, son? You all right?" He goes, "Yeah, Coach, I'm all right." "Well, he's all right. He just ran 65 yards for a touchdown." "Get out of my face, I can't look at you. Put somebody else in. Put somebody else in." I go all night. Coach Wolf stories. Coach Wolf stories. I go all night. One day after practice, after finding out I pole vaulted up to the bleachers into the mat, and he said to me, "Son, now this is a joke, so anybody take it, serious." He said to me, he goes, "Son, what's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You tell me to tackle people, and that's what I do." And he goes, "You do that fine, but you're not long to this world. You got to take it easy and take all that energy and just let it out on the football field." And that's what I did. So I let it all out on the field and in life. So Coach Wolf always told me, and I do it now. I do it now with my job. I'm going to get serious for a minute. So I do it now with my job. I show up 2 hours before work. I don't get paid for it, but I work for Brick Township. And he always told me, treat everybody like you would treat your parents. So every complaint that comes across my desk, no matter what it is, it sounds dumb as hell, but I'll take it and treat it like it's my parents. Because I respect the people of Brick Township, and I respect Coach Wolf. And that's what he put in us, to respect and love, Brick Township and people. So Coach Wolf made this world a better place, and I hope that everybody doesn't just say, "Oh, I'm going to do something," but they do something about it. Do something about it. Change something in your life. Make this world a better place, because then all his work was not for nothing. It was for something. It was for something, and that's what he put in all of us. That's why he was, "Boys, let's go. If you're not on the bus, if you're not on the boat's leaving without you. So get going. Get going. Do something for this community. Do something to change the world. Don't just let it go. All right? Coach Wolf, we love you."
Amen.
And things get very acrimonious among lawyers. So I constantly draw upon what I learned from Coach Wolf, and that is, I'll never forget it. You guys know, knock the man down, boys. Help him up, brush him off. Never tolerated any fighting in a game. He taught us collegiality and teamwork, and it's something that I employed in my life. And I always would draw upon that as I've gone on. And really, it's a problem in our country today, People
Liberalism.
The problem is that people don't treat each other with some respect, even though you might be the adversary. If you knock the man down and brush him off, it's okay to beat them, but treat them with respect. And he taught us that, and I think we all are men of respect and men of class today because of that.
I took a picture last night of everybody in the group, and I said, wolf pack. And I said, we're here on the 50-yard line to talk about great, memorable moments and thank him for teaching us to be respectful young men and to understand the impact he had in our lives. And we all know that. We've done that. TJ put it right. We have to do, and we made a pact last night, and I wrote that too. We made a pact that he's always going to be alive, he's always going to be a legend, so make sure that we do something for him. What he gave us, we have to continue to do that for the Township of Brick. One story I can remember, we were at Central Regional, and it was halftime. We're winning 34-0. It was, we played a little bit of the third quarter moving forward. Played in the third quarter, he took us out. We had a pretty good team on my senior year, so we didn't play a lot in the first team. Anyway, we're down 34-0. We get back to the halftime, and he's fired up for some reason. We're winning 34-0. We're talking, blah blah blah, and we're in the stands, and there's a gentleman up top yelling, "Let me have an orange! Give me an orange! Give me an orange!" And he's trying to talk, and the kid's yelling, "Let me have an orange!" And he goes, "What? Let me tell you something. We're fighting for our lives, and this kid wants an orange. Give him an orange!" And he starts throwing oranges. Fighting for our lives. We're looking for coach. So he was fired up about something. He was throwing oranges at him. Yeah, that's the only story. And one time, I remember T.B. Jones. It was our green and white game, and he came around and nailed somebody on a kickoff. Coach, and he was down, and Bear was there, and Coach Wolf goes, "Are you hurt or are you injured? Are you hurt?" "No, Coach." "Are you injured?" "No, Coach." "Are you hurt?" "Yes, I'm hurt." "Well, then get up and get out. If you're not injured, you're on the field." So that was good. He always said, if you're injured, you stay down. If you're hurt, get up. Nobody's hurt on my team. That's it. I mean, he was a legend. He helped me get to where I am today, and I can't thank him enough for that, and for all of us. He took care of a lot of us in this room, putting us in positions that we're supposed to be, and we're here in Brick. Where else would we want to be? So, thank you. You guys all right into it.
Hi. Yeah. My name is Gary Wood. I played back in the late 60s. Very different, turbulent time in our country. And I always look back at the experiences that I learned that Coach put in my soul, in my heart, in my mind, to enable me, as some of the gentlemen before me said, to get through life. Well, to get through life for me at that point was the year in Vietnam. As a combat soldier in Vietnam, and there's no doubt in my mind that what I learned through Coach, preparing me for life, saved my life. Because I was able to go back and take from him the things that he put in, like I said, my soul, my heart, my mind. And to this day, I thank him for saving my life.
Being around the coach, you're a part of something special. Every season, he would tell you, don't read what people say. I'm going to tell them one thing one day, one thing the next day. But I always remember before game time, all a little nervous, get up, go for a walk, get ready, you know, get the butterflies out. And like Captain Curry Master was saying yesterday about how he would walk around with pregame, give everybody a stick of gum, make that personal connection with each and every player. And it was fun for me through the years because, as you know, I'm a classmate of Warren Jr. and Coach was coaching as long as we were both alive. When he was coaching 50 years, we were both born in 58, so he was coaching 50 years when we turned 50, you know, so that says volumes. But I know I was talking with Warren yesterday, a little bit after we had the meeting on the field, and we imitation is the highest form of flattery. And we would emulate the coach, and we'd be like, "Where are the footballs?" We would say, you know, like in the locker room. And before the second half, he would say, "This is the biggest half of football in your life," and he convinced you of that. You know, there was no joke. There was no turning back. You knew you were going to go out there and leave everything on the field. And I just think that he was a very once in a lifetime person that gave us all something, and each and all of us to carry forward. So there it is. Where are the footballs? And what else did he said? Biggest half of football in your life, and we're all a little nervous, and there's a lot of different one-liners that I wanted to say. But all the best, Coach. Rest in peace.
Anything to say? I'm hoping I'm going to get through because I got a real funny story, at least a one-liner. I'm Bill Fleisner, born and raised at Brick Township. My son and daughter are third-generation graduates of Brick Township High School. There's no place I'd rather be. Many of you are the reason why I'm where I'm at today. And we're here because of a very special man. I love everything about every one of my brothers and sisters in this room. And I'll remember this night for a long time. But it's what is in every one of the 48 years worth of my living that makes me realize green and white is a way of life. If my kids go out of town, I know they'll be bringing green and white with them. If I don't see my brother for a couple days or weeks, I know we're bonded in green and white. And I thank every moment I had with Coach Wolf and each of you for my funny story. It came up in the car earlier today when Dennis, Donovan, Kevin, Danny, Tommy, and I had a chance to really talk about a lot. Stories that sometimes they get shared and sometimes they're not. There is nothing that is funnier than to realize how ridiculous Coach Wolf made that last practice before a game. God forbid you had everything working. It was going to be a bad day. It was almost like he made sure that you had to have a bad practice right before a game. Then you're going to have a good game. Being a quarterback was not very easy to be a quarterback for Coach Wolf. What you're expected to do on the field, what you're expected to say, what you're expected to get done. And a lot of you are really good at quarterback. I was not. But I still had a role. I still had a role to play. Me neither. I really wasn't a quarterback. I kind of got stuck for a little while. But this is what I will always remember. No matter what the temperature was going to be before that game, on Friday afternoon, he would get these special balls out and get a bucket and drop the balls into the bucket. And as the temperature got colder and your hands were freezing from the cold, you'd have to try to make a pass with these ridiculous balls. But if you could ever hear him yell over, either Bear or Lick, "Hey Bear, hey Lick, get the rubbers." The balls are rubber balls. There's nothing that will stick in your head more than this. Bear, Lick, get the rubbers. Thank you, Coach. I love you.
And
I'm thankful that I got to spend it with my brothers, my family. One thing I think some of you don't understand, and you keep talking about the coach to coach. The coach was a missionary. I don't know if you all understand that his mission was tied to his religion. And he believed that he was turning young men into good men, good adults, good fathers, good citizens. And that was his mission. And the vehicle was football.
Amen.
And I look in front of me, and what I see is good men, good women, because of our association with the coach. So I would say, Coach, mission accomplished.
Yes.
Kevin just said, you all know what Sego means, right?
We went to Brick.
Barbara Tipsauer,
I only played football.
Peggy Wolf, shut up. Barbara, Peggy Wolf, my mother Betty, all went to the games together and hugged. I'm done.
My favorite position coach was sick. I haven't seen him for a long time. We had this beautiful barbecue. We could coach out for his, luxury box and everything else. I try to plan everything out. I wanted to be perfect coach. We go out and I'm talking to Say, and a couple things that came about. Say goes at this, my 50-some years of coaching, the 19 years at Brick were the best in my life. And then with Waz, we had Vinnie Cox, Billy McCabe, Sean Scott, we're all in a group. I'm camera shy. If you ever see this photo, I look ridiculous. I'm just going around. But NBC came around, and they had a film crew. And all of a sudden, Coach Wolf goes like this, "Go Cubs!" But the one thing that Coach Wolf said to me that I took to heart, he goes like this, "Justin, you're a man that can get things done." And he goes, "Justin, before I pass forward," he goes like this, "before I pass away, I want to see my Cubs in Chicago." So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get everything going. I talked to Waz, he goes like this, "We've been to Chicago many times to see the Cubs." But what Coach Wolf was telling me, what I'm best at, okay, is getting things going. He gave me an order to keep things going, and we started working on it.
Yes.
For Coach Wolf.
There's no finer man on the earth than Coach Wolf. Coach Wolf set up a culture in Bricktown. Winning was everything. Losing, there was no satisfaction there. As a young boy growing up in Bricktown, I used to watch the football players come off the bus. And they had their jerseys on, and back then, the bus would take them back home. Not like now. But the kids would walk off the bus very proud, because they were a part of a football team that understood football, but they understood life. Coach Wolf made a difference in everybody's life. I can remember many a quotes from Coach Wolf. You heard him tonight. Run it again. Never swore on the field. It was always cheese and crackers. That's the way it was.
Harmony.
And there wasn't any football team in New Jersey that Brick couldn't challenge or Brick couldn't beat. And so Coach Wolf established the Jersey Shore football program. Because he believed in what he was teaching and what he was all about. And that was about making young men, young boys become young men. And so I can remember from 8 or 9 years old what Coach Wolf has meant to me. And there's not a day goes by that I don't think about Coach Wolf. Because where I am today, he was the footing and the foundation behind me. And whenever I have to deal with adversity, I think about Coach Wolf. And I never waver. As you saw some of the things on YouTube, the Montclairs, we couldn't wait to play the Montclairs. We couldn't wait to play the East Oranges, and we couldn't wait to play the Phillipsburgs, because we love the challenge. And if you remember back then in Bricktown, everybody at 2 o'clock, Coach Wolf was famous. 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, everybody was at the game. And WJOK, Tony Grant had it on, if you couldn't make it. And if you couldn't make it, somebody beeped the horn on the way home and told you, Brick Township won again. Woo! And those days are stuck in my mind, because I was just a little boy, but I wanted to make the team. My parents wanted me to go to St. Joseph's in Toms River. Do what your parents tell you, right? So in my sophomore year with Peter Liguori, we decided to transfer. We didn't think that the caliber of football was where it should be. And we transferred. And I gotta tell you, it was one of the experiences I will never forget for the rest of my life. I can go down a schedule in our 10-year year. I can go down a schedule in my junior year. And I can remember when I first got there, you know, you're a guy that, how am I gonna be welcomed? What's gonna happen with my classmates? And I gotta tell you, the gentleman's here today, Dan Duddy, I'll never forget it. He said, we got beach practice, Ed. What's beach practice, Dan? Well, we're gonna go work out before the season starts. And Dan picked me up in his black Comet, listening to Pink Floyd. But it was a great ride, and I love Dan. He's a great guy. He's truly the salt of the earth. And so, me and Dan got to know each other. And I'll cut this short. But I love Dan. He took me in like a brother. And brick football is a culture. It's the winning attitude and the care about people that separate the others from us. And as Coach Wolf has established, in his 51 years of coaching, he has set that line in the sand. We not only play good football, but we care about each other. And that's important to continue on for the rest of your life. God bless Coach Wolf. Thank you.
Compared to some people here, I'm a youngster, just graduated. We always have one-liners from Coach Wolf. He made us a better person. He made us men. We're all men here, and women, but we're all men here because of Coach Wolf. I mean, he had the best one-liners in the world. I was always a jokester, even get my ass beat, Coach Brown, doing fucking cooker, excuse my language. I always joked about it. I sat here with the rest of the guys, the old timers. It was always, hit him hard, what are you doing, Christopher? What are you doing? Your head's here, you should be over here. You know, that's the way he was, man. It was great, you know, old timers, you know, throw like a can of corn. I don't know why you're not catching it. What are you doing? What are you doing, boys? All right, and so, I mean, I got some great one-liners. I mean, I can't go through all of them, but TJ, Bob Velasquez over here, everybody in here has probably heard every line under the sun, and we all remember it, and that's what makes us better people, because we all, it's not he knew how to put us down to bring us up. You know, we all got put down by Coach Wolf, but yet his put downs were a bring you up right away. He made you realize what you did wrong in life and correct it on your own. It wasn't, he didn't tell you what to do right. He would tell you, you missed the block, what are you gonna do here, people? And then you did it right. You didn't want to disappoint him. I've been a 25-year Bretton Woods. I put a post on the Facebook page there at Bretton Woods, and I said, you know, he made, like everybody said last night in that inner circle on the field, he was a father. He made us believe in ourselves. He made you proud to be from Bricktown. He put us on the map. We were nobodies. Every game and everybody in here, every year, we were outnumbered, outdone, way less. We were always the smallest. But yet, what did we do? We won. He made you win on the field and off the field. And what I said on the Facebook page is true. And I don't know how far back it went, but I know in my career and in his past, you always got an apple after the game. Always got an apple after the game. And then talk about Bear, we were talking about Bear here at the table. No matter what injury you had, your shoulder, your head, your neck, your wrist, your elbow, your ankle, you always had to sit waist deep in the whirlpool. No matter what it was. Ice it down. My elbow hurts. Get in the ice pool. Get me. And everybody here, everybody that's standing here, I mean females, I'm not excluding you, but that locker room, the locker room, nobody's talked about that yet. That is an experience that nobody ever in their lifetime besides a brick football player will experience. Half hour, the hour, the 2 minutes before game time. Besides video and you either are going to be hit or be hit, like last night we said, and that's on video. Just the things that were said in that locker room, the people you stood next to in that locker room. You were warriors. A lot of people went to the military. A lot of people just, things happened in the police service and everything. The things you heard in those locker rooms from your friends, your colleagues, and everything, you were brothers. You were brothers. We're all brothers tonight. We've always been brothers. We always have been brothers. Coaches that have coached, that have been our brothers, we all are brothers tonight. We always will be brothers. It is what it is. We're all family tonight. We always been family, but tonight, Coach Wolf has brought us together to be that way forever. Again, yes. Licorice. That's what I got. I still have it in my mouthpiece, in my closet with my helmet. I mean, that's what it was. Oh, you stole your helmet? Neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. But that's what it was.
Want me to take that?
Hey, look, Justin Gray says take it down. Justin Gray used to buy me beer when I was a sophomore. I don't know how many people can point at each other in this room and say that, because it's probably true about everybody in here. He was the guy that bought me beer, Budweiser, even though I didn't want Budweiser. He bought me Budweiser. Well, the code around sophomore. I'm telling Coach Wolf. Coach Wolf. Justin Gray bought me beer.
On Tuesday, and they're always there, we started the Breaking Out for Coach Wolf. And we got the news that Coach is in the hospital.
Use the mic.
Coach was in the hospital. I couldn't hear, you know.
Had surgery, and my mom and dad were in the hospital room after I came out of surgery. I was put under. But the first person I saw was Coach Wolf. When I opened my eyes, I was like, it was amazing. I think about that all the time. That's the kind of guy he was. I was a sophomore, wasn't playing varsity. I was playing sophomore, JV, did. But I have daughters that play, one of them playing high school sports, and she got injured, went through a serious injury, and her coach never came to see her. And I told her about Coach Wolf, about the kind of guy he was. She went back to practice, 2 weeks later, they sent the basket for her, but, it was just, didn't mean anything. But when I opened my eyes and saw Coach Wolf, it meant so much. Funny thing, junior year, me and my brother are playing, and it's Labor Day weekend. My dad is involved with union labor, and there's a Labor Day parade. So, my dad tells Coach Wolf that, Frankie and Kevin can't go to practice on Labor Day. They're going to go march in a parade with me. So after practice that day, Coach Wolf, he's talking to all the boys, and he's like, "Hey boys, tomorrow's Labor Day, and that's just what we're going to do, except for the Darcy boys. They're gonna be out paraded. We're gonna lave it." It was just the funniest thing. But he just made a joke about it was like it was my dad took it serious about being he was heavily involved in labor, and we had to go. But Coach Wolf made it known that we were not at practice. And the boys did labor.
Yes, we did.
Whimper, as you all know probably, but I'll do my best. Number one, we all could say the same thing, okay? In 1969, a light came into my life. And it stayed with me for 50 years, more, okay? And it got brighter and brighter and brighter as those years went along. And our relationship got changed from player to coach with him to really a friend towards the end of his life. And that was the best part of the whole thing. But a couple things, because I got another half, right? You guys all saw him, my brother, you probably know. And when it's really personal, when my dad, well, I'll start way back. Football banquet, 1973. All of my friends, Danny Duddy, Joe, Danny McCullough, my brother, they're all going to get awards, like senior awards. Most valuable player, this, that, and the other thing. Well, I wasn't getting anything. I wasn't very good in high school. Got better in college. But Coach Wolf, before the banquet, comes up to me and says, "Dennis," he goes, "the most important thing at this banquet is the person who does the blessing. And I want you to do it." And he said it because he knew that he wanted to include me in that group and make me important. And I remember that to this day. when my dad, God bless him, loved Coach Wolf. My mother, forget it. She loves him more than me. But, that's true. Absolutely true. So, true story. My dad is very last, hours of his life. Coach Wolf comes to the hospital, and my father says to my brother and I, in front of him, "I'm not worried because you have him." And he said to my father, "You're right. I do. And he did. So my brother, this is the last one, my brother, who was a very successful coach in Connecticut, he was the National High School Football Coach of the Year. And he had just won, we were out of the playoffs, and every week Coach Wolf would say to me, "How'd your brother do? How'd your brother do? How'd your brother do?" And when he, whenever we would sit, what would be the first thing he'd say? "How'd your brother do?" And then 5 minutes later, he asked me how he did again. And I would keep saying, "Coach, he's doing great. He's doing great." I don't care if I have to answer it 50 times. I'll answer it 50 times. So my brother wins his 4th state championship, Connecticut state championship in a row. Donovan, just all the people in the world. I look and I see, where's Donovan? Donovan's at the game. So we brought, Coach, we were done with our season. Coach says, "I want to go up and see the game." I said, "Okay." We were like Rensselaer Field, where UConn plays, 15,000 people. My brother's got, now he's been there for 25 years. He's got all of these people only up in Connecticut. Former players, former coaches, administrators, you name it, everybody. He wins the game, and after the game, he comes up to me, and all these people want to talk to him. Everybody wants a piece of him. People are sticking microphones in his face. He said, "I don't want to talk to anybody." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I got to find Coach Wolf. I got to find Coach Wolf." And it was like the C's party. The coach was up on top of it like a ring. And everybody just partied. And he walked up and they hugged. One of the few times I saw Coach Wolf cry. And he did, and it made my brother's life. And everybody has these stories, okay? And the most important thing that we all have to remember, okay, is to just act a little bit like him. None of us are going to be him, because there's never going to be another him. But all of us just have to act a little bit like him every day to try to make the life of a kid, an adult, your wife, whoever it is, a little bit better in his memory. I love you.
Football. There is no more impacting statement today to observe brick football. I was at a grave site this morning that I never thought would happen because we were raised with a feeling of that this man was immortal. But yet, we know fundamentally that he was in fact mortal. But there was something about him that we really can't verbalize. And there was something about Coach Wolf that no one else will ever get but us. No one will ever understand what we understand except for us. But the irony is we can't verbalize it. That's the tough part. That's the hard thing about coming up here. But I'm looking at all you guys, my brothers, and your girls, your wives, and my sons, and our sons. And I'm thinking like, man, this guy was the winningest coach in the history of the state of New Jersey for public schools. And I'm like, he did that with us? I'm a 5'8", slow white guy. And if that's not a testimony, amen?
Yes.
And I'm looking at tangibles, and I'm saying like, is there anything more inspiring in humanity than to understand that the intangibles overcome tangibles, that spirit overcomes body, It's probably the most important thing that any person in this world could ever learn is that your spirit overcomes the body. And we learned that. We learned that from Coach. We were overachievers. Right, Billy? Yeah. Billy said we were both overachievers like 15 years ago. I think that might be the only time I listened to you, and I remember. It's me, Billy. I asked you to come up for a second time. Third time. So if I could give a little personal witness about Coach Wolf, I can tell you that I'm 63. I've had 50 football seasons, and his name is on every one of them. And his name is on my ability to be a husband, my ability to be a father. His name is on my the magnitude of how much a man could love. He was an incredible, loving man on the greatest platform that brings boys to men. And now that's the game of football. And we can talk about his one-liners, but the one thing that is so true about Coach Wolf, that he was so true. He was just so consistent. Like what you saw, what you got, right? When he was in 1958, last week, right? He was a true man. God is love, love is God. God is true, true is God. He's bringing us to eternal life. And right now, I'm telling you, he stepped in, he said, Peter, get out of the way, I'm in charge.
He was very sarcastic. Very sarcastic. But he had a huge heart. And he put that heart in every one of us. And it means so much to me as I was pushing that car and looked over, and there's Dennis Philippone helping me push that car. So Dennis, you're my hero. All right? I love you, and I love everybody in this room and Brick Football. Everybody that put that helmet on, everybody that was part of Brick Football is a part of me. Thank you.
I call Mr. Wolf because I don't feel it's appropriate to call him coach, because I never played a down football for him.
Mike.
Mr. Wolf came into my life when my family.
Rapid Patty Doyle.
Yeah, 1961. And at the age of 10 years old, I found myself on the sidelines at high school. My father was a Pee Wee football coach. 5th and 6th grade. Red Measure was 7th and 8th grade. In those days, you played Pee Wee for my dad, midgets for Red, and then freshman you played for Sammy and Don. But when you played for my dad, 7 years later, you're going to play for the Silver Fox. So, the same LK32 you were running in 5th grade, you were running 7 years later. You just did it better and faster as the years went along. So, my dad in red would be up on the top of the press box. You know, Bear would have a big 500 yards of coil wrapped around his elbow and follow Mr. Wolf around with headsets. So I was like 10 years old, and I go to the game. My dad said, go down there and see that big tall guy down there. Just go tell him that you're my son and you want to be a border boy. So I'm 10 years old. Kenny Scott's there, Johnny Myers there, Kenny Madison's there, Johnny Gaspage is there. These guys were my idols. I'm a little kid. So I go and see this guy named Jack Roberts, the Bear. I'm a little kid. I'm like a scrawny 65-pound guy. I looked up and I said, hi, Mr. Roberts. It's the Bear, he goes. I said, I want to be a water boy. He goes, okay. And he walked me over to this table, and they had red buckets in those days. And he had a bottle of like Dentine mouthwash and a bottle of water on the squeezy thing. And a
Smelling salts.
and a red bucket with a sponge in it. And he said, you know, whenever there's a timeout, whenever the quarter ends, you run out there, you squirt it with some of this red stuff, they spit it out. You squirt it with some of the water, they spit it out. Wipe your face with the sponge and get off the field. Whatever you do, don't make any mistakes. And I'll give you a hot dog after the game. I said, okay. And that was like just the beginning of probably like 55 years of how Mr. Wolf and his men, we were saying today coming home, it's been a hard and heavy 8 days for me because, you know, look back on my life, and there, Danny alluded to, there wasn't a time where he never was in my life. Think of it again. I never played football. Hockey was our common thing. Saturday morning recreation hockey with Warren and so many of our friends. Mr. Wolf, that's how we became involved. And then the rise and the trips. 1995, Dennis said, my father passed away. The place I wanted to go. Like Stephen said, the first person I wanted to see was Mr. Wolf. My heart was crushed. My father just died tragically and left me that. He was gone in 5 minutes. I had to go see him. Knocked on the door. Come in, Pat. He didn't call me Rapster yet. I wasn't Rapster yet. So I sat down in the Florida room. Mr. Wolf, nighttime, lights were low, and he just gave me the verbal comfort. And Mrs. Wolf gave me the motherly love. And I'll always remember he said to me, you're with me now. Because he was always my second father. Always. But he said, you're with me now. Where I go, you go. Where you go, I go. And I liken it to that courtship of Eddie's father. He was Bill Bixby, I was a little Japanese kid. It's okay to have a friend that's 30 years older than you, or in Mr. Wolf's case, 30 years younger. Because we did everything together. So he said, you're with me now, Pat. The bus leaves for Southern Regional tomorrow at 4 o'clock. You'll be on it with me. You'll sit in the front seat with me. Got to the high school, sat in the bus, and I cried the whole way down. He put his arm around me. I remember Mr. Hanshin saying to me, God bless Mr. Hanshin too, you gotta live with the living, you can't die with the dead. Mr. Wolf comforted me from that point on. And we became attached. My dad passed. When my mom passed, my sister passed away. When my mom passed away, couldn't have got through it without him. I have, as many of you know, a personal tragic situation that happened to me. Again, where was I? In that Florida room with him. Call him up. He was my friend. I would go there. Warren would take me there. He'd sit, drink wine, tell stories. Right up to the end, I talked with him on the Wednesday, 2 days before he passed. Rapsta on the phone. I always have that ringing in my head. Hey, Rapsta. When I walked into the house. I'll never be able to forget all the wonderful memories, the things that he did for me. And I know most of you, when you said your prayers on Thanksgiving, you probably said something when you prayed for Coach Wolf at your Thanksgiving dinner. Because I know I did. Because I was thankful for every second he was in my life and shaped it and made it better. I'm forever enriched by that. And I loved him more than I can tell you all. I helped him with his book. There wasn't anything he ever asked me to do because he never turned from me. He said words to the effect of, let me know what I can do for you. Phone calls were made. Character references letters were written. Can you help me with my book, Patty? Let me know, Mr. Wolf, give it to me. I'll send it to my publisher. Great. You know, I'm going to Lakewood. Really? Okay. Going to Lakewood. So I said, first thing, came in the van. We were going to Army, West Point. Larry Roper's kid play. Warren said, you know, I just want to let you know my dad's going to get in the van and tell us all he's going to Lakewood. I said, got in the van, he goes, hey guys, Mr. Wolf, I just want to let you guys all know that I decided to take the job at Lakewood. And our friend Ori Carino turned around and we said, I didn't know they had a hockey team. He turned around and he was sitting next to me in the back and I said, Mr. Wolf, I said, who's going there with you? And he said, Patty Doyle, Patty Doyle, Patty Doyle, Patty Doyle. That's my lovely side. Funny story, I'll tell you. I told this to Warren the other day. He never knew this happened. Mr. Wolf would always call me, come to get you. Where we going? Never knew until I got in the car. So he called me up and said, then I was the Rapster. That's my DJ nickname, Rapspaddy D, the Rapster. So he never said it with the R, he said it R-A-P-S-E-A. Rapster. So he called me up and said, Rapster, I want you to come with me. I'm going to a meeting. Okay, I thought, Ocean County College, it was the Board of Health, because anywhere you went with Mr. Wolf, he took me to these places where political figures and judges and congressmen and senators, he taught me what to say. When they say this to you, you say that. When they do this, you do that. There were judges lined up to come and shake his hand like they were.
All right, come on, Rob. Get to the point.
No, really.
I heard the story. Get to the point. It's a good story.
Okay, the story at Lakewood. We go there, and I get in the car, and he says, I said, where are we going? He goes, going to Lakewood. He goes, I want you to come with me. We'll sit during my job interview with the athletic director, his name is James Pratt. So I said, Mr. Wolf, I said, why do you need me to come with you for a job interview? And he said, just in case Mr. Craggs needs somebody to vouch for my credibility, you could be my character witness. Really? Okay. So I'm thinking, who takes somebody with them of Mr. Wolf's stature to an athletic director? I don't know. Mainly an all-black high school. And here we go, two moms walking through the
Get to the point.
Go in. And I said, Mr. Wolf, I'm not going to ask you to tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm not going to ask you to tell me what kind of experience you have. All I want to know is, when did you start? Mr. Wolf looked at him, and I'll never forget those words. He looked at him and said, I already have. And he said, we have Amir Dupree, Daquan Kenny, Tyrese Beverett, Patty and I have been going to basketball games, and we've been scouting, and I'm ready to go. He said, the job's yours. So we went there and had a great time.
Coach Wolf would always say, my number 2 son is Coach Brown. Coach Duddy would dispute that. And it was who was 2 or who was 3. But we have testimony from Waz that Coach Brown is number 2. Coach, you have to get up. That's not right if you don't get up and speak. Come on, let's go.
I knew you get up. I knew you get up.
I'm not gonna cry.
I know. Yeah. $10.
I lost the race. Understand something. He means so much to me. You all know that. I mean, I love the man. I went to Brick High School. All my brothers and sisters went to St. Joe's. Coach wanted me to go to Brick as I was playing Pop Warner. And my father says, well, if your sister doesn't go, you can't go.
So I talked my sister into going a year before me to, she wanted to go to St. Joe's, and I wanted to play football. Coach Wolf taught my parents into making me be a brick football player. I thank God for him to do that, because I wouldn't be here with all you and have the family that we have. And I'm telling you something, the family that we have is special. No one else has it. And you all know that, I know that, and I love him for that. And I love you all.
He got me in the prosecutor's office. If it wasn't for him, I would never be the person I am today. And so many people have said that before. I really have nothing more to say other than that. He saved my brother's life. He kept him out of jail. And people don't realize what he's done for people like that as well. Unbelievable man. I love him to death. I've known him since I was 5 years old. And I can't even speak because I've been in tears since Friday, and there's nothing else for me. I honestly can't speak. I haven't been able to eat and speak since Friday. I was on News 12, which was horrible because I couldn't even speak at that time. I love your dad so much. I love your mom. I love your family. You know that so much. I'm sorry, I can't talk right now.
Jobs during the summer. So I wasn't lucky like Donovan to get an easy beach job where he was raking, seaweed. I had to work for the county painting lines and stuff, putting signs up with Norman Fell. So one day we're out, we got this request to go to the Ocean County Library to paint fire lane 3 times. So Norman went out drinking the night before and had a lot of Mad Dog 2020. I don't know who he was with, but he had it. And he was really sick the next day. So I said, look, all you got to do is you put out the signs and I'll paint them and we'll get out of here. So I mixed the paint, put it in the machine. He put the stencils out. I didn't look at them. Paint. Throw the sand on it. We leave. We go have lunch. Boss comes in. He goes, how you guys doing today? We're doing good. What's up? Can you meet me over at the library? Fine. Now, remember, your dad was a freeholder then. He's in he's there in Tom's River. So we go back, and there's this lady, she's about this big, and she's just shaking her head, and she goes, are these the 2 morons from Bricktown? And I'm like, who is this lady? He goes, you guys paint this? I said, yeah, we painted it. And I looked down and it goes, Fry Lane. What? Well, about an hour later, I run into your dad. He goes, who did you have for English in Brick High School?
All of our lives, in every way imaginable. And I just kind of want to carry that a little bit forward. I look around the room, and unfortunately it's a little bit emptier now than it was earlier. But as I've been here all night, I've been looking at the faces and all these people that have had such an enormous impact on my life. From Eddie Smith, and he coached me in Pop Warner, and he instilled some unbelievable. Joe Morris, all right. Obviously, some of these guys weren't here, but I look around. I look at Coach Brown. I look at Waz. Waz was one of the assistant coaches under Coach Wolf. Coach Duddy. Everybody that's in this room has had an enormous impact on my life. So everything that Coach Wolf has instilled, everything that we've heard, you guys that are in this room have really embraced all that. Coach Filippo, all right, one of my favorite coaches. For those of you who coach what you guys do, I was owner. I was in trouble every other day. Not bad trouble, just in trouble. All right, and one of the things that we didn't really hear was what did Coach Wolf do besides enrich us, instill all these great values in us? Held us accountable. Right or wrong, Coach Wolf held everybody accountable. And I was the recipient of a lot of accountability, trust me. And I think Coach Brown can attest to that once or twice. But that all comes from Coach Wolf. It all comes from Coach Wolf. I mean, he held his team accountable. I remember watching these guys when I was a little kid. You know, when I was a little tiny kid, I remember watching these guys, and they were just bigger than life. Got up to be a freshman. I had Coach Campbell and Jim Calabro as my freshman coaches. Great memories, you know, prepared us for that varsity level, okay? You guys, you know, it's do or die when you get up there, you know, and like I said, I just want to thank all the guys that are left in this room. Thank you, Waz, Dennis, Kevin, Coach, all you guys that huge impact in my life. And I just want to be able to, I coach now, and I just want to be able to kind of pass that along, you know, do something right for all these kids, and, you know, see a kid struggling, take them, put your arm around them, and then get them moving where he needs to go. So I just want to thank everybody here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sincerely. Thank you, sincerely.
If it was a spear, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
That's my one line for you. So I don't remember meeting. Oh, well, for the non-football players, if someone threw a pass and it went through your hands and it hit you, he'd say, if it was a spear, you'd be dead. Because, you know, it dropped on the floor, but it hit you in the chest. So, you know, I don't remember meeting your dad because of my dad's relationship with Red and then my dad's relationship with your dad. I just grew up in the program, but I remember the first memory I have. My brother talked about this phenomenon the other day on Facebook. I was a little boy at the Bernie Cook dinner, and your dad got up at the Junior Sports League, and he named every single dad and their son by their names and what they did, and I remember being a little kid and being like, holy crap. Like, whatever my vocabulary was then, I was probably 5, but I was blown away. That's my first memory of your dad's impact on my life. So, I always said my brother was 8 years older than me, and he was a huge influence on my life, and of course my dad. I always say it was my dad, my brother, and your dad. They were the three major influences, male influences on my life that made me who I am today. And I mean all the skiing, so all the football that I was around, all the skiing in the Poconos and in Vermont and in Colorado and Tahoe, and all the times I just was around your dad that wasn't football related, and never heard him curse once, ever. And I know you all know that. Cheese and crackers, Jiminy Crickets, you know, those, but never heard him curse once. I mean, what a man. So I don't want to belabor anything, but I just love your dad. Love your dad.
Mike, Dan, Don, you gonna talk? Don, Kurt?
What I'd like to just emphasize, yesterday upon signing the guest book at the viewing, today I finally read the back of the mass card, and what stood out to me, man, I love to write and I love to read. I'd never think that if you knew me as a player back in the day. So there was a lot of masking going on, I guess, and studies go for the physicality side of things. But what I picked up yesterday is very symbolic, and it's important for the green and white family to understand. I saw a coach's date of birth, and it ends up being August 1st, which should ring a bell to every player, especially those that came through Pop Warner. And then I see him, that being, of course, for those that don't know, when Pop Warner or Brick football would pick up its training. Then to see the week that he passes is Thanksgiving week. And every kid who plays football throughout the country, that's the biggest week of football in America. So to talk about a purpose-driven life, you can't recreate the story better than that of Coach Wolf. And as it's been said for many people that stood here tonight, the most important thing we can do, you can never recreate that story, you can never recreate that personality. It would be foolish to even try. Even Hollywood's greatest producers couldn't write the story better than those here in town have been able to live this story. But take a piece of what he tried to do, pass that on, and you're carrying out your objective off the field. So those who may not know what I do, I work for the state, and as a player, I probably had my best season as a freshman, and it would degenerate over time until I got to being a senior. We won our state championship. I played my position. I did my team aspect of things, but I was confused and clouded by growing up and learning other things off the field, and it cost me a lot of my playing time, but it served its purpose. Ultimately, I'd go on and become a school teacher, working for 4 years, and then finally decided to leave on my own merit and become a trooper, state trooper. And that's the next thing. When we speak about legacy, I looked it up today. Bricktown is the 14th largest city throughout the state. And we're 21 counties. I don't know how many municipalities we have. I think 567. 567. We rank number 14 in population. As of today's date, and the number may not be accurate, the state police will celebrate its 100th anniversary in a year and a half. We started in 1921. And Coach's legacy, I want to say more men and women from this community, from 1921 to now, have gone through the school district and gone on to become state troopers. And I accredit it to Coach Wolf as a coach, as a mayor, as a public figure, freeholder, and a state senator. So as we gear up as an organization to commemorate our 100th anniversary, I'm asking for help from anybody that may know, anyone that ever wore a uniform, current or in the past. Provide a name, send it to my brother at the school district. We need to get a list going because I want to prove a stat. And I'm going to try to get, we have, if you don't even know, and I encourage everyone to go visit it one day, the State Police have a museum at headquarters. It's worth seeing. But I'd love to see him enshrined for the fact that his fiber and his makeup and the things he had done in this town to make the men and women what we are, he should be on a wall with something capturing how many people this town has created and continues to create and stand out because, yes, we have our wins, the Dragon family, but we also take that victory to further victories, and there's no better way to celebrate a full life that can never be recreated.
I never played for Coach Wolf.
Why not?
I'm a transplant from Hudson County.
We beat them too.
I moved down to Brick in '91. I do have relatives that lived here from the '50s, so I try to have a relationship here in Brick. The Canadosies and the Quesos, you might have.
Yes.
They're all relatives of mine. And the Marinos. My grandparents moved down here. When I moved down, I was coaching up north. And when I moved down, I couldn't give up coaching. I was too young. So I went and talked to Coach Wolf. I was encouraged by some of people who knew him. And I wanted to coach. I had no idea what I never coached high school football before. And I met with him and I talked to him. I met him at the house and Hank was there. And, we had a good conversation. Now, I was the outsider coming in, all right? Now, this is a family, right? And, families don't like outsiders coming in. I think I was a little lucky because I came from Hudson County, and that's where Coach came from. So that might have helped me a little bit. So it was a little tough in the beginning to break into this family. But as Hudson County has its family, Bricktown has its family because of the values that Warren brought to Bricktown. That's what instills in with me. And he welcomed me right away. I didn't, you know, he didn't wait. He welcomed me right away, and I've been here ever since. I've been coaching since '92, and coach allowed me to do what I was able to do throughout the years, and that's what it means to me. How he welcomed me as if, you know, he knew me all my life and never knew me before, and then welcomed me right in. There were others that might not have welcomed me right away. We won't mention any names. But I think I warmed up to them. I think they warmed up to me. But he welcomed me and he treated me just like one of his family. And that's part of what Bricktown's all about.
I came from a very poor family, on welfare, you know, free lunch, all that stuff. So my mom barely ever made my game. So she happens all day, dropping stuff at the school, make dinner for us, and then she'd go waitress. So coach is somebody I always looked up to, you know, coaching staff, Coach Philpone, Coach Brown, Coach Wolf especially. So I remember one time, you know, on Sundays we go to his house for offensive film and say, Coach, you can't make it, I have to get a job. What do you mean you can't get a job? You have your whole life to work. And I didn't get that till later on. You know, down the road I'm like, wow, he doesn't get it. But he did get it. Later on he told me, you have to work, go work. So I worked at Kmart on Sundays. But I think through high school, just his work ethic was something that I took with me my whole life. Just watching him work on that field, the tight ends, and trying to run over the quarterbacks, and with the left ends, and just how long he waited. He waited for that JV bus to pull up. Everybody was done, varsity coaches were done, going through game plans on Monday, and he'd wait for that JV bus to pull up at 7, 8 o'clock, and that didn't matter. He'd wait for how the JV go. But it was his work ethic, and most importantly, it was his speeches after practice. So, like, all right, bring it in, boys. And we're like, wow, we actually had a great practice. Like, why are we bringing it in? Like, sit down. I want to talk to you. And he started talking to us about life. And telling us, if you lose your job, what are you going to do? You're going to go apply for another job an hour later. Same thing in football. If you get knocked up, you got to, if you're the only one, if you're the oldest kid in your family and your father passes away, what are you going to do? You're going to go and get a job. Your car breaks, your transmission breaks, and you had a larger gas bill than you were expecting. What are you going to do? You might have to go get a second job. Those are the things that stuck with me, was those post-game, post-practice speeches about life. And I took that with me my whole life. So whenever I dealt with adversity down the road in my own life, I thought about those speeches after practice and how important they were. And, you know, and they bounced me back. So there was never a point in my life where I dealt with adversity and said, oh, wow, I'm just going to quit. I can't do this anymore. I'm just going to throw in the white down. But I couldn't, because I just thought of coach's speeches after those practices and how important they were about not quitting. And coach, in regards to me, like, he was at my boy's baptism. He was, my grandfather, who's also my role model, he died, and I looked at the door and Coach Walsh walked through. My grandmother died, Coach Walsh walked through. My dad died, Coach Walsh walked through the door. He said everything. He said everything. He was a very important man. And when I took over as head coach, I just basically said, I can't let that man down. So we were fortunate enough to make it to a state championship. And Coach Donovan Brown and Rick Hampton, God bless them, they were able to get Coach over to the locker room. And he spoke to the boys, and that's really what we need. I said, Scott Lloyd does a great job. He shows all our motivational films before, and coaches can get the kids as pumped as they possibly get. But when that legend walks through your locker room door, and the kids have heard about him their whole life, some of them met him, some of them haven't. And they were able to, after Coach spoke to them, you could just see they were lasered in. I'm looking at them and they're focused. They're lasered in. They're like, this is the legend here. He's talking to us. Every word he said, they listened to. And then I turned to the coaching staff, and they weren't lasered in. They were all crying. So,
Yeah.
so I was like, but that was the lift we needed. So we went there, and I told the boys after he walked out, like, guys, we cannot let him down. Like, he got this whole thing started. 50-something years ago, he got this whole thing started, and we cannot let him down tonight. And we didn't let him down. The boys played for him. coach, and I can never repay everything he did for me and those life lessons and the comebacks in my life. And when I got knocked down, I got back up. It was all because of Coach Wolf.
Yes.
We used to play football back in the day, and he used to emulate people that played for brick. Rob, am I right?
Yep.
We used to play in the street, two-hand touch, tackle on the street, and we used to emulate football players from the past, from brick. I mean, that's how tough we were. We used to tackle each other in the streets. Right. We used to emulate everyone from past. I want to thank everyone for coming here, and the only reason we are here is because of that man. That is the man of the hour.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know why you're here. I don't know why you're here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We're all family. We're all friends.
Sit down and you'll be up again in a couple minutes.
We're all bowling at the bowling alley with wives tomorrow. I love every coach that made me a man. Everybody, thank you. Thank you for making me a man. My coaches, everybody, thank you.
What a man. What a man.
CJ Vettorino, I taught him everything I know. I taught him everything I know. Thank you to Justin Gray for buying me all the beer. And I'm out.
Francis Garrett.
Thank you.
My name's Tony Francischetti. I'm class 82.
Yeah, Tony.
My freshman year, I played for Coach Duddy. I've known Donovan Brown since I was 5 years old, first grade in St. Dominic's. I know Paul Durkett personally, Tony Shupin personally. Kenny Scott came to my house. We used to roll the carpets up. I'm the youngest of 5. My oldest sister's class of 66. So I do think if I fall down and break my leg, little green dragons are going to run out. Thank you, Bear, for that one. I can tell you stories that go back from 1970 when I was a little kid smoking cigarettes with Michael Shupin. Thank God he didn't. Bonfires behind the high school. These guys have no idea. They have no idea. Brick football means everything to me. I played for Coach Phillips. Mr. Signorino. This is the epitome of football. Everybody look around. Michael, between the Marine Corps and the New Jersey State Police, I do believe Mr. Wolf has the record. Thank you for your service. Ryan, you want to get anything? Thank you for your service. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
He was one of our alumni classmates also. Jimmy Fish, we have a couple of them here. We have a legacy that will live on forever. Scott Lloyd, I played Greek football for his dad. Mr. Mesmer, we can go on. The Junior Sports League is our shrine. Some of you guys never had varsity club at the Junior Sports League. I held it there. And I took over. I held it there. You're a minute late. God bless you. You're going to need it. Your arms are going to be sore until the pals come home. Rapster, thank you for being part of Brick Football.
Yay!
And God bless you all. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
At home, nothing without you.
For the playoff, to go to the state championship. So we beat Newark, and Coach Wolf says to all the players, do you want to play home, or do you want to go to Giant Stadium? And we're like Giant Stadium. No, that's it. Bear was upset. Bear's like, play home. But we ended up playing at Giant Stadium. And, we're walking out from practice. LT's walking out. Phil Sims. I mean, it was amazing. But that Saturday, when we beat Newark, we had films on Monday. So I was running late. Sorry. And Coach Wolf's going through the game film. And we're kicking off the door. And in the game film, I'm told that I'm flying down the field, and all of a sudden I get pummeled, I get slammed. I am like out. But it was fine. But, and Coach Wolf went back and forth, probably 20, 30 times. Who is that? Defend yourself! Who is that? Jimmy Corbin. Where's Jimmy Corbin? And the players obviously say, he's in the hospital. So I'm late and I walk in right after and but it was a great time. I mean, this coach, our coach Warren Wolf, I mean, we were never intimidated by any of the team, ever. I mean, we intended to win, and that's the way he trained us and taught us. And he said football is a game of life, and you got to be a team and work hard, and you will accomplish great things.
Good job, Jimmy.
All right. To hear from all of you, hear things about Dad, your relationship, and what it affected you with. I listened to some of the things, like one of the comments that he always, or one of his cliches was that I never understood, but it'd be like, okay, it was a Friday, he wanted you to go home, have something good to eat, get to sleep early, and make sure that your cleats were in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
What do you mean by cleats? What am I going to do with that? Cleats in the right frame of mind. The biggest half of football was always one of the biggest things, because back in the 60s, the kids actually gave them a football that was like a half of a football. It was like huge. The biggest half of football, coach, right here. Oh, it was so much fun. The films over my dad's house was always something from when I was a kid, or no, when I was coaching at my dad's house, or else when we were doing it in the locker room. It really embarrassed a lot of you, because back in the day before, when we used to watch the films, and it was on the projector, and you could flick the switch, and you could run it at natural speed, or you could slow it down, and it would be like, Tom Cooper, watch yourself. What are you doing? And then he'd roll it back. Tom Cooper, look at yourself. Tell your teammates, what are you doing? And everybody would go, oh, look at him. And then it'd be the next play, and it'd be you that he's telling the same thing to. It was the best thing watching those films on in the dark, on a screen, not like we have today, because it was really the best. On a screen, in the dark, and you could really see yourself, right? So those were some of the best things. I enjoyed everything, hearing all the stories. I'm going to take them to my heart. I'll remember them always. So many of our former players have gone, and I like to think that passed, because all those guys, I don't know how many there are, but I really need to find out how many football players have actually departed. But I really believe that they were saying, hey, coach, we need you up here if we have a game going on. And that's why Dad died that day. I really didn't think he was going to die that day. It was shocking and surprising. So I thank you all for coming, but I need to clarify one question that's bothering two people. Who was the number 2 son?
And 3 sons.
And it was funny because
Donovan.
This is
Mom
big.
would get the phone and, hey, Donovan's calling. Oh, my number 2 son? Oh, Danny Duddy's calling. Oh, my number 2 son?
Danny, number 3.
Oh, Dennis Philippo's calling. Oh, my number 2 son? Kenny Scott, number 2. Art Tom. Every football player was number 2 son.
Yeah.
And that's really true. He loved every one of you like he loved me. That's what I'll always remember about you, with all the Brick football players. God bless you. My wife, Kristen, needs to talk.
I have something to say.
Not talk, say something, not talk.
No, I have something to say. So, I don't know Coach Wolf. I don't know him. I only know him from you guys. I know him as Dad. I met him 11 years ago. And he was my dad. I want everybody to know he was a dad. He was your savior. he was a coach last. It was just like God put him here to like be a coach, to take care of all of you. It was just like his name badge said coach, but he was here for all of you. He was here for me. He saved me. I told him today I would take care of his son. And I really meant I would take care of his son. And I want you guys to know that it was just a name. Coach is a name. I know you guys, I understand the whole coach thing and football thing, but just understand that I didn't know him. I just knew him as dad. And I told him I would take care of you. And Grandpa. Woo!